My parents used the money my grandma left for me to buy my sister a brand new car. They told me it was for the good of the family, but they forgot one very important thing. My grandmother was still alive. My grandmother raised me more than my parents ever did. While my mom and dad worked long hours and spent most of their time worrying about my younger sister, Emily, it was Grandma who helped with homework, cooked dinner, and listened when I talked about my dreams. She always told me something I never forgot. Fairness matters more than love sometimes, she'd say, because when people stop being fair, love disappears too. Emily had always been the favorite. She was louder, more dramatic, and somehow every problem she had became a family emergency. If she needed something, my parents rushed to solve it. If I needed something, I was told to figure it out. Still, I never complained. Grandma knew, though. She always knew. A year ago, she quietly told me she had set aside some money for my future. Money she wanted me to use for college and eventually a down payment on a small house. "I don't trust your parents with it," she whispered with a small smile. So I made sure it was protected. I didn't think much about it after that, until last month. Grandma had been moved into hospice care after her health suddenly declined. The doctors said we should prepare for the worst. The house felt heavy with tension when my parents called a family meeting. Emily sat on the couch, smiling in a way that made my stomach twist. My dad cleared his throat. "So, we used some of the inheritance money your grandmother left." My heart skipped. "What do you mean?" I asked. My mom waved her hand dismissively. "Your sister needed a reliable car for work." Emily jingled a pair of shiny keys in front of me. "Isn't it amazing?" she said proudly. My chest tightened. "You used my inheritance to buy her a car." Dad frowned like I was being unreasonable. "It's family money," he said, "and Emily needed it more." I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. That money wasn't just money. It was the future my grandmother had quietly planned for me. But Grandma said, "She's not in a position to worry about finances anymore," my mother interrupted coldly. Emily smirked, and then she said the one thing that made my stomach drop. "Grandma won't even know." The room went silent, because what none of them realized was that Grandma had already called me earlier that day, and she had asked one very specific question. I didn't answer my parents right away. Instead, I just stared at Emily's new car keys swinging from her fingers like a trophy, because earlier that morning, my phone had rung while I was making coffee. It was the hospice nurse. "Your grandmother would like to speak with you," she said gently. Grandma's voice sounded weaker than I'd ever heard it before, but it was still sharp. "Sweetheart," she said, "has your father mentioned anything about the account I set up for you?" My stomach tightened. "No, why?" There was a long pause on the other end. Then Grandma sighed. "I had a feeling." She explained something that made my heart start racing. The money she had left for me, nearly $40,000, was supposed to stay in a special account until I turned 25. But she had given my father temporary access months ago when she was hospitalized, only for emergencies. "Your father promised me he wouldn't touch it," she said quietly. I didn't know what to say, but now, sitting in the living room watching Emily admire her car keys, the truth was obvious. They hadn't just used the money. They had stolen it. I finally spoke. "Grandma knows," I said. Emily laughed. "No, she doesn't." My dad crossed his arms. "Let's not upset your grandmother with family drama." My mom nodded. "She's dying. Let her have peace." Something about the way they said it made my blood run cold. They had already decided the story they would tell her. But before I could say another word, my phone buzzed in my hand. Unknown number. I answered. A calm, professional voice spoke. "Hello, this is Attorney Michael Harris. I represent your grandmother." The room went silent. My dad's eyes narrowed. "What's this about?" he demanded. I slowly put the call on speaker. The lawyer continued. "Your grandmother has just authorized me to make an immediate update to her estate and financial accounts." Emily stopped smiling. My mother's face paled. And the lawyer added carefully, she asked me to inform the family that she is aware the inheritance funds were withdrawn. My father suddenly looked nervous. That's not necessary. But the lawyer interrupted him. There's one more thing. Everyone in the room leaned forward, because what the lawyer said next made Emily drop the car keys onto the floor. The lawyer's voice remained calm. Your grandmother has revoked all access your father previously had to her financial accounts. My dad's face turned pale. And due to the unauthorized withdrawal, the lawyer continued, she has instructed our office to begin legal recovery of those funds. Emily's brand new car suddenly didn't look so exciting anymore. My mother tried to speak. There must be some misunderstanding. There isn't, the lawyer replied. Additionally, your grandmother has amended her will. Silence filled the room. The next sentence hit like a thunderbolt. The remaining inheritance, along with her house and savings, will now go entirely to one beneficiary. Everyone looked at me. The lawyer finished calmly. And that beneficiary is the granddaughter who never tried to take advantage of her. Emily slowly lowered her head. My dad didn't say a word. And for the first time in my life, my parents realized they had chosen the wrong favorite. I visited Grandma in hospice the next day. She squeezed my hand and smiled softly. Fairness matters, she whispered. I told her everything was going to be okay, because in the end, she made sure the truth was the only thing our family couldn't ignore.